Everyone, it's almost the end of the day. I know everyone's really excited for this concert. I will try to be quick, but don't feel free to ask any questions. No big deal. When we do end this session, we do ask you to leave though, because I don't know if I'm the last session or not. But again, let me restart. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate your time. Today we're going to go over Zoom Room's digital signage and scheduling displays and all the new updates we're going to add to this. My name is Nishta Singh. I am your product demo specialist. And again, thank you for being here. So this is a value-added service to our Zoom Rooms platform. Again, it's all the same software, so you're not having to go through and install multiple softwares for all of this solution. But if you do purchase just one Zoom Room license, we give you unlimited amounts of scheduling displays and digital signage. So if you go through, you want to install millions of scheduling displays all through your offices, that's up to you. So we'll start with scheduling display first. It is a technology that can be attached to your conference rooms or your offices, your wellness rooms, phone booths, wherever you would like. It is not restricted to your Zoom Room itself. So quick spec guide, this is supported with iOS or Android. It's up to you. Again, that's the nice thing about us with having an open ecosystem. It does sync with your calendar, so if you do put this outside your office, you can actually sync that calendar in and show availability so people can stop knocking on your door and just walking in while you want some private time or some thinking time. What we're introducing now is Find a Room. It's a map integration. It's very cool, and it's honestly incredibly easy to set up. I can set it up, and I went through it, and I was like, this is like 2 clicks. I can't believe how easy we made this, so it's extremely simplified. Scheduling display. Again, you can mount these anywhere you would like. We've basically simplified booking a room, so if you want to do ad hoc meetings, you can just go through and see if your rooms are available or busy. Just quickly go through and look through your rooms instead of walking up to them. Again, instant room reservation if they are available. All you have to do is select reserve. And you can go through and set up a time, and you give it a title, and it does come up on the scheduling display itself. If this says calendar integrated, you will see all of the upcoming meetings for that room. We do also offer a check-in feature. So this is nice for all your room squatters or everybody who's going through and scheduling rooms for 8 hours, and then they waste away because no one's actually using them. So you can go through and enable a check-in feature. Customize that time, so if you'd like 5 minutes, 15, 8, whatever you would like, you can go through and customize that. If your users don't check in within that time, it will release the room on the calendar and release it on the physical room itself. We don't want you to waste your Zoom rooms. We're going through some new feature. This will come out at the end of the year. We're giving you the ability to go through and mount multiple scheduling displays across all your organizations. So if you have larger rooms like this, as an example, you can put 2 scheduling displays on the outside. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this. Thank you. Reserve other rooms and view a new floor plan. This is actually available right now. They did a nice thing and released this for everybody right before Zoomtopia. You can actually go through and reserve a room. So basically what you're doing is if I'm sitting at Aristotle as an example and it was not available, I can actually just go through and select on the top right, reserve another room. I can see the floor plan and see the room availability. Again, these are all calendar integrated, so it's making sure to pull, hey, these are all booked for this specific time. This is what's available. I can quickly just touch, so I would select Darwin, and I would go through and book that room right away. The second thing that I did want to talk about is the ability to go through and add participants. So now you don't have to actually walk into the room and start the meetings. You can actually just add participants from the scheduling display, and they instantly get a meeting invite. I'm going to give everyone a second to take photos. Okay, so how do you actually set up the floor plans and everything? Honestly, this is my favorite feature. It is very easy. The images that we are supporting right now is JPEG or PNG. So you can just take screenshots of all your floor plans and upload them. So let's go through that. So this is one of my floor plans. Ooh, okay. This is one of my floor plans. All I'm going to do is come in and take a screenshot of this. And once I take this screenshot, I'll go under where everything is centrally managed because we are Zoom. We want everything very simple. You'll come into your location hierarchy. You'll go under floors, and you'll actually add a floor if it's not already set up. You'll give it a name, description, and it'll be put under the hierarchy that you've selected. And then you will actually come into, I'm going to see if mine's ready. I was setting this up on the background today. Let's edit this. We'll come under Scheduling Display. And I can edit the floor map. There we go, awesome. So I'll edit the floor map. Let's go back one step. Uploading the floor map. Let's see if I can delete it. Okay, so I'm going to delete this really quick. I can add a floor map. Again, PNG or JPEG, it's up to you. I'll open. And I'll select the room it's going to be assigned to. One thing I do want to point out, this can be done through floor levels, campuses, buildings. So you're not limited to just seeing one floor at a time. You can set it up to view the whole campus. So if I wanted to go from building to building, I can view that. If I wanted to go from our Australia office to New York, we can see all of that availability. So you're not limited to just the floor. So I can select the room. And I'm going to drag the room. We'll drop it right here to one of the floors. And the marquee tools are really easy. We'll give you the standard layout of a square or a circle, or I can come in with the marquee tool and actually just draw out my rooms. So let's do this really quickly. I know that was a very simple room. And all I have to do is select, and then since this room was already set up, I'd done the calendar integration for this room, it'll just automatically pull that information in. And all I'm going to do is select save or close. And that's going to go through and show you this is where we come back, and that's what the scheduling display actually looks like. It's very easy. I'm assuming everyone else is going to agree. And that's it. Okay, digital signage. We're going to transition. Digital signage, again, same concept. One Zoom Room license gets you unlimited amounts of digital signage. This is really nice for you to manage your corporate communication. So if you guys have any HR policy updates, any emergencies, any kind of birthdays, employee graduation, or anything that's going on in your corporation, you can quickly do corporate communication with digital signage. Oh, I went backwards, my bad. So you can go through, and right now, currently, you can share images, videos, and URLs all across your displays. We do have, again, location hierarchy also falls into this. So if I wanted to show something in Kansas versus Colorado, I can definitely go through and customize that. Or even my lobbies, right? Maybe my lobby, I have clients coming on site, and I want to say, hey, customer so-and-so, welcome to Zoom. I can go through and customize that to lobby or to my third floor. Quick spec guide. This works in and out of Zoom rooms, so if you guys have a lot of glass Zoom rooms like we do, you can actually go through, and while your Zoom rooms are idle, they can go through your digital signage. Or if you're putting these up in your lobbies or by your employees or outsides in your stores, wherever, you can go through and customize that. All it requires is a mini PC stick. So the ideas I actually give out to a lot of people is you guys go through and refurbish a lot of your PCs. You can refurbish this and start using it for digital signage. So any kind of computing OS, Mac or Windows, you can use that. But Azul PC sticks are just small PC sticks and easy to deploy. Again, images, URLs, or videos. We do give you a content playlist that you can pre-upload to and have that readily available. And then we still have that find a room. Oh, okay, that's odd. So leveraging these digital signage in and out of your rooms. You can put these up anywhere in your lobbies. You can actually use these for sharing keys itself. So as you guys know, in Zoom rooms, it's very easy to share. And if our wireless, for any odd reason, fails, which I don't think it ever does, we give you a sharing key. It's the same concept with your digital signage. All of these have sharing keys. You can disable these for security purposes, just so your finance team isn't sitting there publicly in your lobby and sharing it. But let's say if all of us were sitting in the lobby and I'm like, hey, I want you guys to see my PowerPoint. Instead of all of us huddling around my computer, we can actually use that sharing key, and I can leverage that as a sharing content device. One-way broadcast. That is also really nice. So if you guys host all hands, or if we're in California and we're having earthquakes, I can actually call into my digital signage or set it up to automatically accept incoming calls, or set it up to automatically start scheduled meetings, because these can also be calendar integrated. So you can actually call into the device and say, hey, we're having an earthquake, get out of the building. Or if you're broadcasting your all hands, or if you have, again, important policy updates, you want your users to hear it, you can quickly call into your digital signage and have a one-way broadcast. So what's coming up new with these? We're going to go through and do multiple content displays. So we'll do split screens now. And we'll give you the ability to go through and do RSS feeds, weather, and all of those capabilities. I know, very excited. Again, more features that everyone has been requesting. It's a nice thing about Zoom, right? We go through and support all kinds of use cases with customer backs. Managing digital signage, again, everything is centrally located, so all of your content and everything, actually, let's just pull up the computer. Again, everything is being managed on my account itself. I can just come into Zoom Rooms. We talked about location hierarchy, so if I just wanted to edit something in the United States, in Colorado, I can just come in and, actually, let's just look at my digital signage. So if you guys wanted to come visit us, we're at Technology Driveway. I can come in and just edit the hierarchy itself. I'll come into digital signage. And this is where I can go through and set up the layout if we want standard or video and content, which is coming right now at the end of the year. This is also where I can go through and disable the sharing key. But I'll just select add content here and pull it from my content library or my computer itself. So again, very easy to set up. And that's what this is going to go through. Edit the banner, add your weather if needed, just in case, you don't get weather reports in the morning like I do. Colorado's a fun place to live. It just snowed on Thursday, but I know I went through that quickly. Okay, any questions? Go ahead, sir.
A few here.
Yes.
First of all, wondering, in terms of content administration, currently, as far as I understand, any content administrator can access all the content within the portal, even though they might have access to only publish that content to a specific geographic location.
Okay.
Is there any plan to limit what content is accessible by which content administrator?
We've had a lot of people ask this. Currently, all we do is you can, this is not really an answer to your question, but currently what we do is role-based management. So you can assign specific, if I wanted engineering to have access to Colorado's second floor and only do configurations for digital signage, I can do that. But the content library is not limited currently. So product is aware of it. So it's definitely, the idea is there. That's also coming. Yes. That's a very big request that we are all very aware of. That is coming, yes. Authentication pages and all of that, not having to log into them each time. Yeah, that will be, I can't promise end of the year, but it's something we're productively working on right now. Yes, yes.
I understand that the
oh, thank you, Dan.
so forth rely upon, oh, thanks. I understand that the floor plans and so forth rely upon location hierarchy. Does digital signage itself require location hierarchy to be activated?
No,
Okay.
you can go. You don't have to ever set up a location hierarchy. You can just go through and set up all your rooms, digital signage scheduling display, and do it individually.
Okay.
It's just there for you to organize.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yes. Go ahead, Snare. Oh, to the left, top left. Yeah. We should have set up a question booth.
So actually just two quick questions. First, is there a way on the scheduling panel to not book out the day of, but the following day?
Yes, so you can actually, absolutely. So let's say if a 4th of July is going on and you guys want to go through and do a display period, I can actually, where is that? There it is. So I will come under Add Content List, And if I wanted to limit it to just 2 days, I can go through and customize it for those.
Oh, actually,
2 days.
sorry, actually on a scheduling panel. So if
Oh.
I wanted to book the room out tomorrow at noon.
Oh, no, currently it's only day to day.
That's what I thought,
Sorry.
okay.
That went over my head,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, that's fine. And then the second question, so we see digital signage is organized by location. One of the challenges we have, and we'd love to move to Zoom digital signage, we have like about 100 digital signs globally, and it's very team-based. We have an IT channel, a global services channel, these different team-based way of organizing our content. And today it would take an administrator that has a team spread across multiple floors, multiple countries, redundant going in and updating all these different digital signs rather than doing it in one location.
Oh, no, you should not. Yes, absolutely. What? That's terrible. I'm
Yeah.
sorry you're doing that
No,
right
we're not
now.
doing it. That's what we're just trying to
Oh.
wrap our brains around if there's a possibility for us to do it more team-focused.
Yeah, so it's not team focused, it's a little more admin focused, but you can come under your location hierarchy and absolutely go through and upgrade the application from the hierarchy level itself. Is that?
Well, this I'm talking about uploading content for digital signage. So our IT team is an example. We have a digital sign in Seattle. We have one on the 3rd floor in San Jose, in Hyderabad, wherever we have them. So today I'd have to go into those different locations to find those digital signs and update those individual screens.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, I guess, if there's a way for a team to go, I'm an IT and I want it to show up on these digital signs to be able to do, I update one place and it updates those 3 locations.
Yeah, so location hierarchy-wise, what you'll do is just go through and put those into different, so we'll say, we'll put Atlanta into one group here, and then you'll just come in, select Atlanta, and go through, so let's actually find one. Oh, we're on devices, that's why. So let's come in right here.
Yeah.
So you'll just come in, we'll come into the States, we'll come into Atlanta here, and then I can click on Atlanta, edit this, and then come into digital signage, and then upload the information here.
So one thing you can think about is while we organize a hierarchy regionally, globally, et cetera, you can do anything you want. Create a level of your hierarchy called IT team, and you can have screens at 5 different buildings, all in that level of the hierarchy. You can manage content together that way.
Yep. And then you can go through and assign specific admins there too. So if Atlanta's IT team doesn't need access to San Jose's, then you can go through and customize that.
Here's my dream. Let me know if it's possible.
At Zoom, we make dreams come
Yeah.
true, so let's hear it.
I'm grateful for that. A digital sign that shows that map view from scheduling display that shows which rooms are currently open.
Yeah.
Is that in the plan or possible now?
Can you repeat that one more time?
A digital display, okay, so
Oh,
on my TV,
okay.
that shows that map view of conference rooms that
Right.
shows in real time
The
which room
Wayfinder?
is free. Yeah.
We're aware. That's all I can say. That it's a road. I really want that on like a tablet too, just so I can kind of walk around my office and say, "Hey, Building 4 is open." So it's definitely a roadmap for us. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, quick question about, for scheduling displays, the floor plans related to the naming conventions of your rooms. Is there a roadmap to kind of come up with a nickname for those rooms? I know all of ours, we have a naming convention hierarchy that gets very long, and I don't want that whole name on my floor plan, on my scheduling display, or even noted within the meeting itself.
Okay, so kind of have the main name and then plus have a nickname down to that?
Yes.
Currently, no, but I will pass it along to product. Right now, you would just have to put in that nickname for the full name.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So I have a question back here.
Perfect.
Going back to the scheduling display, when you're talking about calendar integrations for a person and their office, you would still have to set up their office as a room resource, though?
Yes.
Okay,
They
you
would
can't
have
attach
to-
it to a person's calendar.
Right.
Okay. And so then going back to digital signage, is there a plan to change, when you add content lists for a specific days, can you make it time blocks other than a whole day?
No, you cannot. I wanted to double check. I was
No,
like,
no,
ooh.
okay,
But
well-
that's a good idea. That's a great idea. I don't see why we couldn't add that in. I will definitely pass that along to our product team and see if that's something we can work on.
Okay. And then the third question is, just because you disable displaying the share key on a digital sign, that doesn't disable the actual ability to share to it.
Well, there's no wireless sharing with digital signage because it's not a Zoom room. So yes, it will disable all sharing capabilities.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, sorry. apparently
No,
one
you're
more.
perfectly fine.
How can you do one-way sharing if the digital sign is hidden from the address book?
How can you do one more time?
The one-way broadcasts?
Uh-huh.
So as soon as you hide the digital sign from the address book, you can't select it anymore to do a one-way.
Right. At that point, you would just automatically invite it into, no, because it's still hidden in the address book. Then it will be hidden in the address book. It would just not be one of the displays you can call out to.
Can you add that to the list?
Yeah, we would have to tell product. Question up here. That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Back to the check-in piece, can you set a threshold so if somebody doesn't check in on a recurring meeting, that it'll delete the meeting?
Yes, we just absolutely added that with our, I think it was our last update. So you can do reoccurrences. Now it's definitely something that's become very interesting with us. Where is that setting? Let's go back to cities. I'm still looking at digital signage. Yes, so you can actually customize the reoccurrence too. So if you have people who have their team meetings and aren't using those rooms, you can absolutely customize how many reoccurrences you would like, 4, 10. And if they don't check in those 4 occurrences, it'll release the room. So that is room check-in, and then here, I'm just going to turn it on. I'll turn it off here. And it'll release the room after remove recurring series, and you can set the instance to however you would like. So this is definitely customizable. All right. There we go.
Right over here. Right.
Can you do multiple shares on the digital signage?
No. Currently, no. Question up front.
I was just going to ask, multiple sharing calendar, sorry, over here.
No, you're good.
Room calendaring with digital signage content. Can you split that, share it? Because we don't use room schedulers, room calendars. Can you combine the scheduling of the room? What's the meetings that are being scheduled for that day with signage?
Wouldn't that just be a URL? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we follow up with you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Okay.
One question on plans to add interactivity to the digital signage. So if the displays support touch, having interactive content.
I would love that. That is one of my dreams. I know I've pitched that to product too, so it's not available yet, but it's something that they are aware of.
I have a question. So I think this was sort of a feature request yesterday, was to add maybe a yellow color to the map for rooms that are offline. So this way, you can't select that room because there's a problem in it currently.
Okay.
You know?
Oh, okay. We do have one that's, I'm not quite sure what that looks like on the map, but we have something called putting a room under construction. So that's available, but I don't think it comes back out on the display itself.
Yeah, we were talking to think about it in the dashboard discussion. So,
Right.
that was
Okay.
one thing. And is the weather thing available now?
The what? I'm sorry?
The weather option, is that available now?
No, this is end of year still. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, because I've been putting up weather sites to my Azul PC sticks, and they crash them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My Azul PC sticks are crashing underneath content, and it's been very annoying.
Let's look into that a little more. Let's put in a request to support and see if it's something that the software is doing, just so we can make
Right.
sure it's not us.
Yeah.
But let's put in a support ticket and get that
Okay,
figured
great.
out.
Thanks.
Yeah. We had questions up here. And guys, we have 20 minutes. So again, I went through that way too fast. So feel free to ask as many as you want. Second, yep.
A couple questions.
Okay.
First, from a university, we have a very large campus, and one of the functions of our current digital signage system is to be able to override it with emergency messages if there's a campus emergency, evacuate a building, whatnot. Is that on the roadmap?
I've had a lot of people ask that too. Yes, absolutely. Supporting those emergencies and all of that. Right now, we have that one-way broadcast, but that is something product is aware of too.
Two other quick questions. For the new floor map, for each room, can you specify what are the other suggested rooms it could go to? For example, we got a building that's going to have, I think about 12 common conference rooms for the entire building.
Okay.
Then it's going to have specific conference rooms for specific departments. So you don't want to suggest conference rooms that are outside of that department, but you might want everybody to get the suggestion for the common conference rooms. How do you know which conference rooms does it select or suggest if your conference room's booked?
At that point, you would create different calendar resources. So if you want to make a professor only versus a student only, at that point, you would separate out your calendar integration. And then when you set up your rooms, you would only select out the rooms for your professors versus your students. So the calendar integration would be done differently here, too.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we can sync on that and talk about that more.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, Andrew?
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I was making sure they got the
Okay.
mic next. Yeah.
So my question is, like, I have phone booths in my office, and I have some rooms that aren't necessarily Zoom rooms.
Okay.
Is it possible to kind of integrate a scheduling display with those calendars? Because I currently do, and it would be great to make all of them Zoom schedulers without
Exactly.
it being a Zoom room.
Yeah, so when you go through and add your rooms, and once you're done with the calendar integration, what you can do, since, again, it's all the same software, when you add that room, you can just say, hey, the room type here is a scheduling display only. That's all you need to do. At that point, it doesn't make it a Zoom. Yeah. It's the same thing with digital signage. When you're setting up digital signage only without it being attached to a Zoom room, you just select digital signage.
And that's already available?
Yes. Yeah.
So are there any plans to increase the this is the digital signage, the per file limit size? It's currently, you can't use one file that's bigger than, I think it's 1 gig. We have like some long video loops that we play that we have to like recompress just for our Zoom digital signs versus some of our other signage.
I would have to pass that along to make sure that we have a larger file capacity. So what is it? I think the limitation is
A good workaround for that today is
15 megabits or less.
Web server. Instead of loading those individually,
1
put them on
gigabits.
a web server and then use the URL.
Right.
That might be a good option today.
Yeah, we tried the streaming, but it didn't really work all that great.
Okay, let's sync after this then. Okay, you good? Okay. Go ahead.
I have 2 items. Our rooms are very, I should say, tightly booked, and we have a chronic lateness problem.
Yeah.
Is there anything on the roadmap for like a scheduling display internal to the room with like a countdown clock and maybe indicating whether the room is booked afterwards? I'm sort of thinking of.
It does do room indication right now, so when somebody does check in, our head of product likes to call it the evil eye. So if you check in 15 minutes before, it will, on top of the display, absolutely say 15 minutes till the next meeting starts. Especially when it gets really close to the time, it'll say participants are waiting outside. Please exit the room. I think that's what the word
On
is.
the actual Zoom room?
In the actual Zoom room.
In the actual Zoom room.
Yep.
Okay.
But the scheduling display outside doesn't. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
But to your first question, can you repeat your first question?
Yeah, sort of like a countdown clock. Like I think about like the airplane that pushes back, and it's like, hey, you have 5 minutes left, and knowing whether there is another meeting behind it.
Right, and so that's where your evil eye will
Yep.
come in. And so yes, it'll come in, if you set it to 15 minutes, it'll say you have 15 minutes till the next meeting starts.
Okay, and we have a chronic booking problem.
Yeah.
So every room is booked every moment of the day, but if you walk the floors, they are largely empty because there's no penalty. And so is there a solution where you don't have to wait 15 minutes? Because most people don't book meetings at 2:15, they book at 2, and then there's no room available, and we sort of get into this like bad cycle.
Well, at that point, if they're not checking in, then it'll just release it, and then they'll be able to go through and book.
15 minutes later, though, right?
But, I mean, that's up to you, right? You set up 5 minutes, 2 minutes,
Got it.
15, that's all up to you.
Okay.
So I would recommend for you put in like less than 5 minutes. So then if you quickly need more rooms to be available, it'll release every 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I think we have a question over here. But I wanted to add something on the check-in. So if I'm using the meeting space and somebody outside has checked into the room, I will get a notification on screen that someone has checked into the room. wrap up within 3 minutes or 5 minutes or however many minutes are left in that meeting. So once someone checks in, I will know on the display that somebody's outside waiting for me.
Yep.
Hi. So we're currently using scheduling displays with some of our Zoom rooms. And it's a bit of an extension on an earlier comment about the Amber Alert. So what we're finding is when you're setting up a scheduling display, you have to add an activation code, and you select it as a display. And that activation code is usually associated with the Zoom room itself. In some instances, we've found that for some reason or another, the associated Zoom room, the PC running it, has had an issue. And once that goes offline, then the scheduling display goes offline as well. Now, there are definitely instances where people will book the room, but not necessarily a Zoom meeting. And if the associated Zoom room is offline, there's nothing displayed on the scheduling screen.
Right.
Is there a way to sort of detach the two so that if the Zoom room goes down, you can still at least see your meetings for that particular room?
No, because that calendar resource is tied to that Zoom room, and you're wanting to see availability for that room, so currently no. But to add to your problem, we do room alerts, so if your rooms go down, do you have that set up?
We do.
Okay. Then no, because that room, since that scheduling display and that room are tied to the same calendar resource, currently no, but I can pass this along to product to see if we can separate it out. I wouldn't, yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi there. Back here.
Oh, okay, well, good. We'll have you next. Yep,
Hi.
go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify something on the check-in system. And so just to make sure, when people check in initially, they check in so that they can start the meeting and they don't get booted, right? Does that check-in timer start over? Like, is there a way that, okay, you made it, but everyone checked in, we didn't cancel your meeting. However, they still got it booked for 6 hours and finished 2 hours into it.
At that point, you would have to go in the calendar and release the room.
Checkout feature coming soon.
Checkout feature. Is
Right,
it? Oh, okay, good to know. All right
that's-
then, checkout feature coming soon.
That's what it sounded like there, and that's why I wanted to ask if there's a way. They're all going to be calendar integrated pretty much. You know, you start the meeting based on the calendar. If the host were to end the meeting, is this a feature that's possible at all? If they end the meeting, does that release that calendar by chance? Or is that a possibility? Is that something that can come, that it frees up the extra 4 hours they ended up not needing if they start the meeting and end it for all?
I'm sorry. We'll go back into this here. Can you, I'm sorry, repeat your question one more time.
So if they've got a 6-hour meeting, they finish in 2. If the host were to end the meeting for all using that option,
and then check out.
Is there a possibility that is available or will be coming that it does free up the room resource at that point?
I think we should add that to our checkout feature then, is the ability to go through and no matter if you've used less hours, then put it out in your checkout feature. Yeah, okay. We had a question up front. Take notes, Chris.
So related, but on the start of the meeting, will starting the meeting count as a check-in?
Yes. You actually don't even have to have scheduling displays for your check-in feature either. The room controller goes bright orange and bright red when it's really close to your meeting starting, and that's also a check-in feature. Yep. And then if you start the meeting, of course, that automatically checks you in.
I just had a quick one. For the scheduling display, you currently show the time of the meetings and the titles of the meetings. Any thoughts about blocking the titles for
Yes.
compliance reasons, just do free busy kind of stuff?
Absolutely. We have something called Transform Your Meetings to Private. Let's bring this up. It's under your room profile. No, it's actually under the meeting settings. You can come in, we'll just go into the whole hierarchy meeting, and it's called Transform Your Meetings, transform all meetings to private, or just hide the host and the meeting ID, so then it'll display private meeting. So that's currently available. Oh, sorry.
So I had a question. This is actually maybe a feature request and with your scheduling. So we have a tower campus and we have a lot of our employees coming from all over the world. and they don't know
Where
the layout.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that we've had from our corp ops department is there any way that we can integrate scheduling into the Zoom app? So we could have our employees come in, they could be able to schedule a room and also use that new floor viewing function in it as well.
Right, yeah. Currently, what I'm leveraging is I like to book a lot of meetings through my phone. So our calendars actually are integrated to be on specific locations.
Yep.
Aside from that, Zoom itself does not have this, but that idea has also been thrown around by a lot of our customers. So,
Okay.
yeah, future request.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Chris, no, Dan. Yep.
So along with the 2 scheduling displays that's coming, can you have 2 controllers?
Yes, we're coming up with that too.
The same time as the schedule?
End of year, all of that.
All of that?
So I did who announced that? Not quite sure who announced that, but we are definitely doing. I know it's one of the bigger ones that everyone's requested. Yeah. No, I did. So yesterday I announced that you can go through and install 2 controllers. Yeah.
Hi there. So we already have a scheduling controller called Condeco.
Condeco?
Can we integrate that with the Zoom rooms to be able to do some integration? Do you know if that's a supported partner?
Is it running as Android or what OS is it running?
Yeah, exactly. I know the name and I can spell it and I know how to use it.
All right, let's look it up.
Condeco is the application.
It's a closed ecosystem, so they don't. It's not something that we can go into the command line and.
Talked about earlier, just too manual, like as far as.
Okay.
We're actually integrating currently with Condeco and Zoom. They work with Office 365, but if you're on-prem, then you have a little bit more issues there. So we're actually doing testing for that right now.
Can you guys connect, please? And then also tell me, please. Yeah, let's all have that conversation. Yeah, perfect. Okay, I would like to know too.
We currently use a scheduling platform that provides like stats and usage statistics on each room. Any plans to roll out features like that in the future?
Right now we have something called inactive and active rooms. So we do report that meetings, it's all in your dashboard on the bottom right. You can see all your Zoom room utilization. So currently we report on if your rooms are being, if a Zoom room is invited into a meeting, and it actually attends, we'll give you those reports. And if it's invited into a meeting and it does not attend, it does give you that report too. But aside from that, I know the idea has been thrown around to also attach that to the check-in feature, so you can see if your rooms are being checked into and get those reports. But right now we only have the 2 that I mentioned. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, other people might know the answer to this. It's about recordings?
Yes.
So this is not about anything that you
That's
talked
okay.
about.
You have like sales engineers, you have me
All
in
right.
here.
Yeah, I
We're
figure we
good.
have time. Recording. So recent request from our legal team is to find out like whether or not, and it's get reporting around recordings. Who has accessed it, how many times, et cetera.
We do that. It's called registration. It's almost like, what we did is called it like an evergreen recording, but you can absolutely go into your recordings and, I don't have any. Here, there's one in trash. Let me recover one. So I can absolutely go under my recordings. There we go. Oh, it's because it's the start month. It is just our recordings. Well, so are you saying on an admin level? Let's check. Recording management. I don't think I can. All right, let's look at Matt's. I don't know if I don't have the privilege to do this on my account, but you do have the ability to go through and set up. You do have the ability to go through under the share. You can set up registration, and then everyone will be required to go through and register to view the recording, so you get a report. I'll follow up with you and check to see if we can do that on an admin level. Yeah.
This is about digital signage. We have the auto answer set up for them,
yes.
and it works well for like broadcasting all hands. Is there a way to, currently we've been having to basically go into with the desktop client, selecting the digital signage rooms, starting the meeting with them, and they'll auto answer. Is there a way to, if you have 100 of them, is there a way to put them in a group?
Currently, no. We
No?
are working on that, though.
Okay. And
Currently,
then
no.
one more question. Is there a way, could you send the digital signage a webinar link and have them join that? There's no way for them to do it that way?
Evergreen, no. Currently, no. You do have to, it's only actively invite. Yep. Thank you, Dan, by the way.
Digital signage, PC on a stick. Right now you have a sharing key, right, to wireless content. Is there a feature request on a USB microphone that will do a ultrasonic pairing?
No.
Okay.
But we'll write it down. You're trooping, right? Dan's a trooper. Middle here.
Sorry, I think did you say earlier that the schedule resource for a Zoom room can only be, like we use Google, it must be a resource calendar. You can't use a private calendar that has been given, where your Zoom scheduling account has been given privileges to it? Or can you do that?
So you can use an individual's calendar in the case of like an executive's personal Zoom room. Be cautious with that because, yes, you can use an individual's account with a digital signage scheduling display or a Zoom room. Be cautious around password policies.
Yeah.
If it's the user's credentials that's authenticating that room, 90 days from now it's probably going to expire and not work. Also be cautious with your executives because do you want that accessible by other admins that may be playing around your Zoom portal? Do you want their meeting showing up on a scheduling display? So,
Not that you can't do role-based management, right? We can give access to configurations for Zoom rooms to specific people, depending on your location hierarchy. But that's mostly why I didn't want to say personal calendars, is mostly because of security.
In this case, it's more for rooms that aren't as generally available. So
Okay.
it's generally not viewable by more than a select people.
Right.
But it's still a Zoom room.
Right. So then, yes.
yeah, and best practice there is use permissions within your email platform and Exchange, whatever. So you've got certain admins that can book that and others can't, things
Yep.
like that.
We've got 2 minutes. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and we all really appreciate you as Zoom customers. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and everybody safe. It's Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Safe travels.